Good afternoon to you. Tuesday, September 30th, about 12:15 in the afternoon. Patriots coming off a 42-13 rout of the Carolina Panthers, and of course a big game coming up on Sunday night in Buffalo. Whiteout is what they're calling for in Buffalo. No, not weather conditions, but they're wearing those Nike whatever uniforms they're wearing that are all white, and they want the fans to wear white. So that should be quite a time. A reminder, you're watching the All 32 pod here on the CLNS Media Network, of which we are a proud member of. And of course, we are presented by the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America, PrizePicks. Download the app today. Use the code CLNS to get $50 off in lineups with your first $5. PrizePicks, run your game. I am Mike Giardi. We have a lot to get to today. We will do it as usual, 4-quarter styles. That's what we like to do at the beginning of the week because that's how I roll. And I like a little game, 4 quarters, right? So I wrote this on the Boston Sports Journal on Monday, and this is our first down. To quote one of my favorite movies, Almost Famous, it's all happening. At least I think it is. Drake Maye is starting to string together one high-level performance after another. After that Week 2 performance against Miami when he was close to perfect, that was his best game as a pro. He bounced back here in Week 4 with another performance in which it was almost as if he was the big brother with the little brother holding the ball over their head. They just couldn't get it. He toyed with the Carolina Panthers in that football game. And if the Patriots are to emerge from the throes of this mediocrity in which they've been in for the last few years, May is going to be critical to their success. He is not just a vessel of hope, as I believe Chris Gasper from the Boston Globe termed last year, but now he's becoming that very thing in the flesh, growing in front of your eyes. And as I mentioned, Week 2, Week 4, in Week 3 against Pittsburgh, we stress the turnovers because you can't overlook those. I don't care whether you're a young quarterback or not, and they helped cost them that football game. But surrounded by those turnovers was, again, some terrific play in which he seemed to be in complete control. We've all seen these flashes from him before, but when you start to do this week after week after week, you're really onto something. And yes, we're on to that year 2 leap. The nerd numbers, they love him right now. He's 3rd in EPA and completion percentage over expectation, which is a composite they do. 6th in adjusted EPA per play. 4th in, 6th in adjusted EPA per play. 4th in EPA per play. And 7th in success rate. If you're into the more traditional statistics, May leads the league in completion percentage. He's over 74% right now, which is absurd. Ranks 6th in yards, 988, and is 11th in QBR. So is the best version of the second-year pro emerging? Well, he said, I hope so. And certainly you have to feel like it is, because what I'm seeing here from him now is how decisively he's playing within structure. The hesitation in Week 1 has completely disappeared, and you're seeing the 23-year-old emerging as someone who's the commander-in-chief, right? He stands back there. He surveys. He's patient. He knows when to run now, mostly. Knows when to throw it away. And you saw that just from Week 3 to Week 4. There was a similar play in Week 4 than what happened to him in Pittsburgh in Week 3 when, of course, he got loose with the football and then had that crazy notion he was going to shovel the ball off to Trevion Henderson and fumbled it. Well, 3rd quarter of the Carolina game, the pocket got muddy. And instead of trying to get cute with it, he took a 1-yard sack. And he joked afterwards, like, I shouldn't have taken the 1-yard sack. My offensive linemen are going to be mad at me, and I should throw it away. But I'm fine with the 1-yard sack. And I bet you they are too, because he's not exposing himself to those hits. All of a sudden you decide you want to throw it away, and now you open up your ribs or you open up your chest to someone, or you see a color or a flash and you think, hey, maybe I get the ball there. And that's, again, when you make the mistakes. No, he just turtled in the moment, lived to play on, and continued to produce a positive drive for the New England Patriots. So I love the play within structure, but I also love the fact that they're not restricting him to strictly structure. Getting him outside the pocket has now been a thing for 3 weeks, and the success rate on those plays is through the roof. You can see his confidence in those plays. You don't want to do it too much, right? Because then you're helping the defense. Hey, look, big moments, they're going to roll them out. That means a high-low read, and we have less to cover and less to worry about. But when he does it, he is in such control of those plays and clearly goes through it quickly, and if it's not there, runs it. He's sliding. He's getting out of bounds. As he joked after the game on Sunday, there was a play where he could have probably lowered his shoulder on a safety, and he joked like Cam Newton would be mad because Cam was idle growing up in Carolina. But that's the kind of stuff that they want to see. Like, not there. This isn't a playoff game. This isn't a gotta have it game or moment in a situation there. So just be smart with your body. Be smart with the football. He's doing that. They're allowing those natural playmaking moments to come. And as Kurt Warner told you last week on this podcast when we had him on at the end of the week, I was a Hall of Famer. Granted, not the most mobile guy, but he said the thing that he's noticed in watching these young quarterbacks that have that run pass ability is it's such a fine line to walk. And we saw a number of times in his rookie year where he didn't walk that line. And maybe we even saw it early in this year. Maybe even saw it. You talk about that week 3 moment and the fumble. Maybe that was then. To bounce back this week and to play it smartly shows that he is not much of an error repeater and that he's learning and feeling more comfortable in the offense. And Josh McDaniels is feeling more comfortable with him and his decision-making. And it is making a great difference for this football team and is the thing that gives you hope. Again, if this season was going to be a success, it's about Vrabel laying the foundation for the program, and it's about this quarterback developing and becoming one of those guys. I had a scout text me, and I had this in the article on Monday. He's becoming a problem. Indeed, he is becoming a problem. Let's see if that continues. I have a feeling it's going to. I'm not saying it's going to be this linear thing. It never really is with quarterbacks. Just look at someone like C.J. Stroud, who's now on the other side of this thing where it looked like he was going to be great as a rookie, had one of the best rookie seasons at quarterback, and now because of a supporting cast and maybe now some happy feet in the pocket, it hasn't. But May, again, appears headed in the right direction. Second down, of all the ways this new regime has tried to shape their football team in one off season, the attention to the defensive line is what really appealed to me. And we just came off it, right, in the Super Bowl, how Philadelphia dominated Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. They won up front. They won with their front four. In particular, they won with their interior. Jalen Carter is one of the best players in football when he's not spitting on people in the season opener, right? He commands a lot of attention and still makes a ton of plays. Jordan Davis, a former first-round pick, alongside him. And there was also this guy by the name of Milton Williams. And when the Patriots got to free agency and they were trying to make waves on the offense and struggling with that part of it because some of these guys just didn't pop free, they turned their attention to Milton Williams and gave him an offer that he couldn't refuse. And to this point, through 4 weeks, Milton Williams has been one of their very best players. He has been a playmaker week in and week out, and he is someone who is commanding attention. 10 double teams by my count this past week against Carolina, similar to the number the week prior against Pittsburgh. And yet, again, even with the double teams, he is still showing up and making plays in big moments. There was a critical pressure in the second quarter when Carolina was still in the football game, much as we talk about the Marcus Jones punt return turning the game on its ear and the Patriots never looking back. That third series, they were driving the ball, and he made a move on the left guard that was, I believe you want to call it double chop, a double swipe, excuse me, and smoked him. Guard didn't get any help from the center, and if you go back and look at the clip, and I posted it on Twitter, I didn't notice it the first time. My friend Chris Mason pointed it out from Mass Live. After the play is over, the guard looks back at the center and is like, "What? How could you leave me alone like that?" But he forces Bryce Young to spin out of the pocket. Bryce slips. Caleb Von Chason gets the cheap sack that should, at least half of that should belong to Milton Williams. But that was an 11-yard loss, ended up forcing them to kick that long field goal that Fitzgerald completely mishit. And that was pretty much it for Carolina and their offensive chances. So you have Williams playing at this level, attracting this attention. And, he's making $25, $26 million a year. And again, hard to live up to that. And if you look at the stats, you might say he's not. If you watch the tape, you would totally say he has been worth every penny through 4 weeks. Also, what's happening now, you're getting an improving Christian Barmore. And it's been a little uneven. I thought week 3 was not his best week after playing pretty well in week 2. He bounced back here against Carolina and dominated, and he should. He was going up against a backup guard, the second string guard, because Robert Hunt is on IR. They're arguably their best offensive lineman. And then the second string guard got hurt, and he got to face the third string guard. Well, when you are a $20+ million a year player, which is what Barmore is. That's what he got paid before the blood clots really ruined his season last year. He was capable of dominating, and now he showed you're going to put these chumps in front of me. I'm going to do that. 4 pressures in the game, drew a hold, should have drawn at least one more, arguably 2, and completely unnerved Carolina on the interior. So you got Williams. We're paying attention to Williams. Well, we can't block this other guy. Now what do you do? Well, pretty much there's nothing you can do. And that's why I love the approach from the Patriots. Build from within, build from the interior, and then watch the trickle-down effect. Watch Chason get single blocked on the outside. Watch Harold Landry get single blocked on the outside. Those guys continue to impact the quarterback and sack the quarterback. And I don't think Chason's playing particularly well. I think he's fine. I think he's been a liability against the run, but they're eating in pass and causing in pass protection, pass rushing because of what's happening on the interior. And there's one more piece to the interior that was sort of, I didn't pay much attention to it when they did it. I thought, Khyiris Tonga, 1-year contract, depth guy, showed some flashes in year 3 or 4 as a pass rusher, but like he's a run stuffing big dude. That dude is a really good football player, a really underrated football player. He's fit in beautifully here. As Mike Vrabel said, he is quicker than he ever imagined. Tonga got 26 snaps on Sunday. They experimented some more with a beefier 4-man front that included Williams, Tonga, Barmore, and then whoever was the edge on that side, whether it was Chason or Keon White, standing up Harold Landry as a linebacker. Gave him some speed to sort of keep an eye on Bryce Young. They didn't want Bryce Young, quote unquote, the jitterbug to get out of the pocket and cause problems. He did not in the game. And I would think this week when you're facing Buffalo, who has a really good offensive line and a really good run game, that we'll see more of the big fellas together. I think that's going to be critical. Again, when you talk about building the team from the inside out, they appear to have gotten this right, and it's going to make a difference for everybody. Before we get to third down, got to remind you, this is an awesome time of year, right? Fantastic. In fact, as I said, I'm taping this on Tuesday. At about 6:08, the Red Sox and Yankees renew their rivalry in the postseason. They will play again on Wednesday at the same time, and then if necessary, Game 3 on Thursday, which means you can get involved with some daily fantasy sports, even whether you're not into it, but you're into this game, you're into this series, you're fired up about what's going to happen. You have faith in the Red Sox, or you think the Yankees are going to do their thing, but there's plenty of playoff baseball now. You have playoff women's basketball. You have football, as we love the game of football. We do podcasts on football multiple times a week. And with PrizePicks, you can combine the sports. All you've got to do is pick 2 players up to 6 to win 1,000 times your cash. Just think about it. Like, okay, Alex Bregman, last I think I read a stat, 180 at bats. It's like wretched. He's batting under 200. But he started to make some adjustments as the regular season finished and started to make more consistent contact and hitting the ball hard, just happened to hit it right at people. Do you think Alex Bregman, who's been a big-time playoff performer, is he going to have more than a half a hit in this game? That's what they do. They set the numbers at a half, right? Then you just go to PrizePicks. You check that off. You look at, hey, Garrett Crochet has been really good against the Yankees. Is he going to strike out 8? Whatever the number is, look at those numbers. You can adjust, combine them. But if you want to throw in, as I said, another sport as well, Thursday night football coming up, whatever the case may be, slap the Patriots in their game Sunday night against the Bills and maybe some numbers in there. Can Stefon Diggs eat against his old team? You do that. All you got to do, download the app, use the code CLNS to get $50 off in lineups off your first 5. Again, download the app today. Use the code CLNS to get $50 off in lineups after you play your first 5 as a first-time user. PrizePicks, run your game. Excited for baseball, by the way. Very excited. It's been this baseball team has brought me back in. I only wish Roman Anthony was playing. All right, so third down. You're going to hear a lot about the guy I just mentioned, Stefon Diggs, this week. He's coming off his first 100-yard performance as a New England Patriot and building a nice rapport with Drake Maye. But the bigger element to this passing game than what Diggs did and what Diggs may do in the future is how they are embracing the everyone eats mentality, which is very much like the one that Bills offensive coordinator Joe Brady stressed when he took over in Buffalo a couple years back when they fired Ken Dorsey midseason. And quite frankly, that philosophy is part of what made Stefon Diggs want to get the hell out of Buffalo, and they did. They traded him to Houston, played 1 year in Houston, obviously we know, toward the ACL midway through the season, and then signed with the Patriots this offseason. We're 4 weeks in now, and the Patriots have had 4 different leading receivers, working through Kayshon Boutte in week 1, the running backs, Ramondre Stevenson in particular, in week 2. Hunter Henry went off against the Steelers despite a knee injury, and then it was Diggs in week 4 against Carolina. Mike Vrabel is stressed over the last week or so when we're asking him, how do you get more production out of their wide receivers? Because the numbers for their wide receivers were once again near the bottom of the league. And he said, just do your job. The quarterback will find the open man. And if you're doing your job, eventually the football will find you and Drake will find you. And it's coming to fruition, right? This is also, I think, an important week because you're playing a Buffalo team that has a really good cornerback in Christian Benford. Incredibly underrated, although I'm not sure he's underrated anymore. He got paid, I want to say it was 4 years and 70-something million, so not the extreme high-end numbers that guys like J.C. Horn and Patrick Surtain, Sauce Gardner, and probably eventually Christian Gonzalez, but more on the lines of Carlton Davis, but for multiple years. Benford will travel with the opposing team's best receiver. Now, maybe based on what Diggs did this past week, maybe Sean McDermott, Bobby Babich, the defensive coordinator, looks at it and says, we're going to have, on the money downs, we're going to have Benford travel with Diggs. If I'm the Patriots, good, do that. Why? Because the number 2 corner has been a massive problem for the Bills. Tre'Davious White is the guy. This is not the Tre'Davious White of 4 years ago, and that's probably been the last time that he was that good. He's someone that should be targeted, and so whether that means it's Kayshon Boutte, whether that means it's Mac Hollins, maybe it means rookie Kyle Williams finally gets to make a splash play in this offense, but that would be an element that if I'm Drake Maye, again, you're looking for the open guy, but more often than not, that open guy might be lined up against Tre'Davious White. Also, their nickel corner, Teron Johnson, very good, doesn't really come off the field. They pretty much live, not as much as they used to, but still pretty heavily being nickel as their quote-unquote base personnel. So if I'm the Patriots, I keep going with the same approach. It's worked for a month, by and large. I don't see why there's any reason to change that now. 4th down. As my good buddy Andrew Callahan and I discussed on our Monday Night Patriots Pass Interference podcast, Sunday night's primetime game against the Bills is the biggest regular season tilt the Patriots have played in a minute or so, right? Callahan suggested December 2021. That was the win in Buffalo in the hurricane conditions, the cold. But remember, Mac Jones threw just 3 passes in that football game. The Bills shot themselves in the foot numerous times late in that game. And after it was over, it was Belichick owns McDermott. The Patriots run the division still. Turns out that was the end. It's truly the end of the Patriots' dominance. They saw, and especially over the Bills, they saw the Bills 3 weeks later. The Bills didn't punt. They saw them in the playoffs. A couple weeks after that, the Bills didn't punt, put up 40-something points, and the whole thing unraveled here in New England. You're now on your 3rd coach since that time, 3rd head coach, and God knows how many quarterbacks, Mac Jones, Jacoby Brissett, Bailey Zappi. You finally settled on your guy, Drake Maye. I suggested to Andrew, maybe the last real big one was Minnesota Thanksgiving weekend a year later in 2022. Patriots were 6-4 coming into that game, had their eyes on a playoff spot. That was the classic, or I don't know if you want to say the Hunter Henry is what I'm trying to say. Hunter Henry, catch, no catch at the goal line. Patriots bitched about that after the game because it was ruled no catch. They lose the game 33-26, and their season went up in smoke. They lost 4 of 6 to finish the year. That year didn't make the playoffs. And again, sort of the beginning of the end for Bill Belichick and his tenure here. Patriots bitched about that, though, after the game. Not only after the game, immediately after the season, not only that, but during the course of the offseason. And then they did nothing to address an eroding talent base on their roster. And as we know, when 4-13, Belichick got fired, etc. So anyway, it's been a long time since they played a game that mattered like this, where you said, like, hey, okay, let's see what you're all about now, and not in a, we're thinking about draft positioning and we're thinking about, okay, maybe we found a little something here with this second linebacker. No, this is about the team, the progress that they've made, the structure that's been put in place by Mike Vrabel. And so you're facing a Bills team that, again, has had a stranglehold on the division, much like you did. And you had it for obviously a significantly longer period of time, almost 2 decades worth, in which the Bills, Jets, and Dolphins were firing coaches and changing quarterbacks like crazy. But now the Bills have the steady hand of the ship with Sean McDermott. They have the quarterback who won the MVP last year and has been phenomenal in Josh Allen. They are undefeated. And you're 2-2, feeling great after a lopsided win for the first time in a long time, where you feel like, okay, maybe we're on to something. Maybe all the things that Mike was teaching them are starting to take root. And so this is a great measuring stick game for the Patriots. They are now officially the second best team in the AFC. I don't know if you watch Miami and the Jets. I mean, the Jets are a disaster, and Aaron Glenn read them the riot act after the game. Miami hanging on by a thread. Tyreek Hill destroyed his knee there. You're not going to see him the rest of the year, and you might not see him for parts of next year as well. And at his age, you may never see the best of Tyreek Hill again. So I look at this game and say, yes, you want to win. Obviously, that's the whole point of playing the game. But a strong showing here will announce not just to the rest of the league that the Patriots are, if they're in that middle tier of teams, that sort of, there's a whole bunch of 10, 12 teams that are they serious? Are they not serious? And, they've got the schedule advantage and maybe they could take steps because of that. But also, like, when you're playing good opponents, show me that you belong in these games, even if you don't necessarily win. And much like, I think, the performance of Drake Maye over the last 3 weeks has started to lift people in the locker room and say, hey, like, our guy has it. I think our guy has it. And you start to get confidence in that aspect of it. Playing a Buffalo team well like this psychologically will do wonders for this football team. Like, hey, we gave them a battle. We had a chance to win. And I know they've been in situations where they had chances to win before, but this is a different level football team. This will be a different level experience for them. And then can that not carry them into Tennessee, New Orleans, Tennessee, Cleveland, like that stretch of games that they're going to have? I think it could, and it could really buoy the prospects of this team, the confidence of this team going forward. The Bills, too, have had this nasty habit of playing with their food, if you will. They let Miami stay in a game after looking like they were going to blow them out. Turned out to be a fourth quarter game. They let New Orleans not only stay in the game after getting up to an early lead, but then letting them take the lead before, again, winning comfortably, 12 points. But I think the Patriots are on a different level talent-wise than those two teams. It's just kind of crazy to say, but just where they're at in their build. And with the way the Bills defense is playing, 20th overall in EPA, 29th against the rush in EPA per play. The Patriots have some opportunities to control the football by controlling the line of scrimmage, thereby keeping Josh Allen off the field. And I think we've seen this team is capable of driving the football, or at least has been through 4 weeks, granted against lesser competition, of driving the football up and down the field. And if they can eliminate those turnovers, they're going to score points in this game. So can their defense then, on the flip side, rise up and face that challenge of not just containing Josh, but James Cook, who's running incredibly well, got the contract. He seems like he's now underpaid after getting that great contract in the offseason, which I wasn't sure he was going to get. He got it, and now he's been terrific. And that offensive line, which is as good as any offensive line in the league. There are some injury things to think about, and again, we'll get into those later in the week in the pod as we get a little bit more clarification. But Ed Oliver, the defensive tackle, not sure if he's going to be available. Matt Milano, the terrific linebacker, maybe not the same player he used to be because of the injuries, but still a damn good player. Not sure he's going to be available. Their right tackle, Spencer Brown, who had an awesome year last year and is a real big part of that group, he did not play last week. So there are things to look at from a health standpoint as well that could play into the Patriots' hands. So again, to me, yes, you want the win. No one's going to be satisfied, at least publicly, with a moral victory. But there is an opportunity here to kind of announce your presence with authority, if you will, to the rest of the league, one way or the other, whether you win or whether it's a close game. And so I think it's time. I think they're capable. They're certainly capable of doing just that. I want to appreciate you. I want to thank you. Appreciate you for watching the program. Kept this nice and tidy, 25 minutes. For those of you listening to the show, we ask you to subscribe to the podcast, like, and leave a review. And for those watching the show on CLNS, go ahead, hit that like button. Subscribe to the Patriots Press Pass YouTube channel, where you can find our show and a lot of other great Patriots content. Also, be sure to turn on your notifications so you know the instant a new video drops. We love the reviews. I love the comments, at least the ones that are above board on the YouTube page. But yeah, if you leave us a review, that's great. 5 stars, all the better for it. We will be back with you later in the week, doing a home and home series with my friends from Buffalo Plus, a great podcast that covers the Buffalo Bills. I've been a guest on it many times, and now I get to return the favor and bring them back. The 3 of them are all over the Bills nonstop from the beginning of training camp right on through the season, through the off season. They're at every league meetings and scouting combine and those sorts of things. Very plugged in. Also, just good people. Be a good, fun conversation. I look forward to making fun of all of them when they come on our show. Thank you again for watching, and we will talk to you soon.